Prayer from Psalm 4, answer me when I cry, O God of my justice. When I was in distress, you made me sound in a spacious place. Have mercy on me and hear my prayer. O sons of men, how long will you confuse my glory in confusion? Will they love vanity and seek lies? Know therefore that the Lord has chosen the godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call to him. Tremble and do not sin. Meditate in your heart, being in your bed, and be silent. Offer sacrifices of righteousness, and trust in Jehovah. There are many who say, who will show us good? Lift up upon us, O Lord, the light of your countenance. You have put joy in my heart more than theirs when their grain and wine were plentiful. In peace I will lie down, and likewise I will sleep, because only you, Jehovah, make me dwell safely. Psalm 4 is a prayer that expresses both a plea for help and a reflection on trusting God in the midst of adversity. This psalm is typically attributed to David and is considered a nighttime psalm, where the psalmist seeks comfort and peace before sleeping. The psalm begins with an invocation to God, who is described as the God of my justice, showing that the psalmist seeks for God to hear him in his distress and help him. This call to God establishes a personal relationship and shows the psalmist's dependence on the Creator. Even in the midst of this conflict, the psalm offers a message of hope. The psalmist states that God has chosen the godly for himself, which is a reminder of divine favor toward those who are just and faithful. This statement provides comfort to David in his distress, knowing that he can trust that God will hear him when he cries out to him. In a larger context, this idea of divine election suggests that, even when faced with adversity, there is a special relationship between the psalmist and God who gives him security and courage. Thus, Psalm 4 is not only a prayer of supplication, but also a testimony of faith and hope in the midst of adversity. It teaches us about the importance of trusting God, reflecting on our actions, and seeking justice, even when we face betrayal or conflict in our lives. In a broader sense, this psalm invites us to recognize God's presence in our difficulties and to find in Him the peace that the world cannot offer. Powerful prayer. Jehovah is my shepherd, Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I will lack nothing. In places of delicate pastures He will make me rest. He will shepherd me beside still waters. It will comfort my soul. He will guide me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because you will be with me. Your rod and your staff will comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my distressors. You anoint my head with oil. My cup is overflowing. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for long days. Psalm 23 is one of the most well-known and recited psalms in the Judeo-Christian tradition. In this psalm, the psalmist expresses his trust in God as his shepherd, who cares for him, provides for him, guides him, and protects him. The figure of the shepherd was very important in the culture of ancient Israel, since he was the one who took care of the sheep, guided them to green pastures, and protected them from dangers. The psalmist compares God to a loving shepherd who supplies all the needs of his flock. He is the provider of everything we need, gives us rest, guides us along paths of justice, and comforts us in times of difficulty. Although we face times of darkness and danger, we can trust that God is with us, protects us, and strengthens us. The psalm also emphasizes God's continued provision and care. He assures us that His goodness and mercy will follow us all the days of our lives, and that we will have a secure place in His house for all eternity. In short, Psalm 23 is a powerful reminder of God's constant protection, provision, and care for His children. He invites us to trust in His unconditional love, in His faithfulness, and in His guidance at all times. Reading and meditating on this psalm fills us with hope, strength, and peace in the midst of life's difficulties. May we live confident that the Lord is our shepherd, and we will lack nothing. Prayer from Psalm 55. Hear, O God, my prayer, and do not hide from my supplication. Listen and answer me. State of my thoughts and cries, and the voice of the enemy has troubled me, because of the oppression of the wicked, because they cast iniquity on me, and with fury they pursue me. My heart is aching inside me, and terrors of death have fallen on me. Fear and trembling came upon me, and terrors have covered me, and I said, Who would give me wings like a dove? I would fly and rest. He would certainly flee far away. I would dwell in the desert. I would hasten my escape of the tempest and the storm. Destroy, O Lord, divide their tongues, because I have seen in the city and on the streets violence and litigation. Day and night they surround it on its walls, and within it there is iniquity and work, and the damage does not depart from its squares. Because the enemy did not hate me, that would have been easier, nor had he who hated me been arrogant against me, because I would have hidden from him. But you, man, my equal, my guide and my close friend, you with whom we enjoyed together of sweet summers, and we walked in the house of God in company, may death surprise you, and go down alive to Sheol, because there is evil in their dwellings and in the middle of them. I will cry out to God, and he will save me. Evening, morning, and noon I will cry and groan, and he will hear my voice. He will redeem my soul in peace of the war that besieges me, because there are many who are against me. God will hear and undo them, he who dwells forever, because they have no changes and they do not fear God. He stretched out his hand against those who were at peace with him. He desecrated his covenant. His words are softer than butter, but they are naked swords. Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. Will not allow forever let the righteous fall. But you, O God, you will bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloodthirsty and deceitful men, they will not reach half their days, but I will trust in you. Psalm 55 is a deep and moving lament that captures the pain of betrayal and suffering that a person can experience in their life. The psalmist, probably David, cries out to God in a time of personal and social anguish. From the beginning, we see that the psalm opens with a strong call for God to hear his plea. The repetition of the words listen and attend reflects a sense of urgency and desperation, a desire to connect with the divine in the midst of pain. The psalmist describes a state of overwhelming anxiety. Your heart is aching, and you are experiencing almost paralyzing fear. This suggests that his suffering is both physical and emotional. This type of distress may be recognizable to many, as we all face times of great sadness and pressure in our lives. The image of the fear and terror that invades one shows how crushing the weight of emotional unrest can be, making one feel trapped. Powerful prayer for protection, Psalm 91. He who lives in the shelter of the Most High, he will dwell under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my hope and my castle, my God in whom I will trust, for he will deliver you from the hunter's snare of the destructive plague. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will be safe. Shield and buckler is his truth. You will not fear the night terror, nor arrow that flies by day, nor pestilence that walks in darkness, nor mortality that destroys in the middle of the day. 1,000 will fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not reach you. Only with your eyes will you see, and you will see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord my hope, to the Almighty for your room, no harm will come to you, no plague will touch your dwelling. For he will command his angels concerning you, may they keep you in all your ways. In their hands they will carry you, so that your foot does not stumble on a stone. You will tread upon the lion and the asp, you will trample the lion cub and the dragon. Because he has put his love on me, I will also deliver him. I will put him on high, because he has known my name. He will call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in anguish. I will deliver him and glorify him. I will satisfy him with long life, and I will show him my salvation. Psalm 91 is one of the most well-known and recited psalms for the protection it promises to those who trust in God. In this psalm, the idea of refuge under the shadow of the Most High stands out, where the believer can find security and protection against all evil that may threaten him. The image of the Almighty as a castle or fortress, where the believer can take refuge, tells us about the strength and security found in the presence of God. Also highlighted is the idea that God will send his angels to protect and guard the believer in all his ways, preventing him from stumbling or falling into dangerous situations. The promise that the believer will be able to tread on lions and snakes without suffering harm, as well as the promise of long life and salvation, are examples of the love and care that God has for his children. By placing our trust in him and recognizing his name, we can be sure that He will be with us in the midst of trouble and deliver us from all evil. In short, Psalm 91 reminds us that we can find protection, security, and deliverance in the presence of God, who watches over His children and keeps them from all evil. It is a call to trust Him and take refuge under His shadow, knowing that He will sustain us and guide us at all times.